Welcome back. The uMkhonto weSizwe party launched its election manifesto at Orlando Stadium in Soweto, Johannesburg on Saturday. The party is one of the new entrants in the 2024 May polls. Well, it has made inroads in provinces like KwaZulu-Natal since its formation last year. However, it has not had the same effect in other parts of the country. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has expressed gratitude to South Africans who cast special votes in missions around the world. It says overall, special voting abroad proceeded smoothly with no major incidents. And to look at the political activities that took place over the weekend, we're now joined virtually by political analyst Sandile Swana. A very good morning to you, Mr. Swana. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning to you, Simpu, and good morning to the viewers of Morning Live. Thank you.
Well, the message that came from the uMkhonto weSizwe party is better the lives of the majority. Well, this was during, the party's launch at the Orlando Stadium in Soweto. What do you make of it?
The message was powerful, and what MK Party brings to the table is that they are now proposing what I would call a handbrake 10, really a dead stop, 10 right or 10 left, but it's a significant 10 to, in their view, reintroduce the dignity of the native majority, the black majority, more especially the African majority, including the Khoisan and all the other Abantu groups that are in this country. In doing so, replace even the legal system of Roman Dutch law with indigenous African law as a basis of the law in this country. So there's a number of things they are proposing that are revolutionary, that are fundamentally different to what is presently in place in South Africa.
And just taking into cognizance the fact that the party launched its manifesto just 11 days before the country heads to the hotly contested May polls, why would it wait until very close to the elections, though?
I won't be able to answer that part of the question, but they certainly, we must remember, all of us, that the people who are behind uMkhonto weSizwe are not new to politics. Some of them, such as Jacob Zuma, have even been the president of this country, running the government and the state, and they've been in the ANC for more than 60 years. So the elements of what they stand for, we know. So the only claim that they have is that they are returning the ANC itself, or they are returning the people of South Africa back to the original struggle of why the ANC was founded, because the current ANC of Ramaphosa has deserted the original struggle. So this is more of a revival of the ANC struggle than a launch of a totally new party. As Zuma has pointed out correctly, that the struggle up until 1912 had been conducted by the chiefs and the kings of the many different indigenous groups, and they formed this party. And now it has deviated and given all the power to politicians and accepted European ways of doing things and so on. So there's not much, but I think I've had a copy of the manifesto for a long time, and I'm sure many people have had a copy for quite a little while, not just yesterday. Not just over the weekend.
Let's talk about the nature of Zuma's political strategy. I mean, the fact that he still hasn't denounced his ANC membership and the fact that the ANC still hasn't suspended his membership. Why do you think he's still holding on to the membership while still voting for an opposition party?
In the mind of ANC members, leaders, and also the members and leaders of MK, the ANC needs renewal. And I think in the minds of many members of the public and the 10 million supporters of the ANC and MK, the ANC has lost its way and it needs renewal. So that process is an internal ANC process. So there's a degree to which MK Party sees itself as a revolutionary movement to recover the original ANC from the sectarian interests of the ANC of Ramaphosa and the ANC of billionaires and so on and so forth, the corrupt ANC and so on and so forth. So MK Party is, by the more committed members of the ANC, seeking to revive the ANC and vitalize the ANC and return it to its original values. The leaders of the ANC, Chairman Gwede Mantashe, President Cyril Ramaphosa, and so on, do not have the political muscle, even if they call Mbeki and others, to contest Zuma. So they are going to make a deal with Zuma after the 29th of May in any event.
And I want us to extend this conversation to the sustenance or the sustainability of a one-man show, so to speak. I mean, the fact that the MK is now tapping into Zuma's popularity, to win more support as well, also benefiting from resentment of what they call an ANC, or rather a corrupt ANC. Just how sustainable is a party centered on a particular individual? Should anything happen to that individual, will the party survive?
We have a problem in ANC politics now, but to answer your question, I think the party will survive. Mangosuthu was a one-man show. The IFP is still going strong. But coming back to the ANC politics and the more democratic traditions of the mass democratic movement, it is a tragedy that for the longest time after Mandela, Mbeki and others have created a cult of personality. And that is why they could go and call Thabo Mbeki to come and campaign for the ANC, because they believe the support of the ANC is not based on the performance of the organization and the success of it's a personality thing. When big business and others wanted to introduce Cyril, other opportunists wanted to introduce Cyril Ramaphosa, they said he is more popular than the ANC. Therefore, his personal popularity in South Africa will lift the ANC to perform better in elections. Instead, he has sunk it. But the fact of the matter is that there is a myth, an unscientific myth, that you can build a party on the cult of personality. And that has been disastrous up to this point. So, but MK itself and the people who are there from proper MK and from the ANC have been in the struggle for a long time. So if Zuma dies today, they should appeal to their experience as activists and continue with the party.
And Mr. Zuma made very bold claims in his party's manifesto launch, talking of, turning around the country's fortunes, talking of the party making a landslide victory, claiming a 2/3 majority in the upcoming elections. He also spoke of the party, giving free education to disadvantaged South Africans. I mean, the fact that his former party, or the ANC, has been in power for 30 years and has been a part and parcel of this particular party, but they failed to deliver on the promises that he's making. So what do you think has emboldened him to make such claims?
Yes, I think it is an accepted fact that by now, for instance, in the field of education, our children in South Africa, regardless of complexion, should be receiving free education from grade 0 to PhD level. And that is possible. We have enough resources in South Africa to do exactly that. And the ANC has not done that in 30 years, and Zuma did not do it. And even the promise he is making now about giving help to poor families is misguided and unscientific, and it must be rejected. So there are many categories. For instance, the idea of a 2/3 majority obtained by MK as a political party on its own is not possible. The ANC is not going to get above 50%. The DA is not going to get above 50%. EFF or MK, nobody's. 40% is going to be very difficult for all parties in the coming election. So those are just fantasies that are not going to happen. So what is more helpful is to discuss two things. One, how is the coalition going to be structured? Two, how are we going to have a realistic program, what I call CODESA 2, a realistic program of lifting the black people of South Africa who are in dire straits, lifting them out of poverty into wealth, lifting them out of ignorance into proper knowledge, and lifting them out of diseases into proper health. Those are some of the things that need to be discussed in detail, in technical detail, so that there is proper implementation by competent people. That is what we need to discuss, not things of 2/3 majority and fantasies like that.
And perhaps another claim that I suppose has been very bold that he made is that he wants to change the constitution once he's in power. I mean, truth be told, Mr. Swana, South Africa's constitution is the most, well, one of the most progressive in the world and is the only constitution that is most cited by top global courts. But Zuma says that it was informed by Western laws and is unrepresentative of the people. Why is he only making that particular note now? I mean, he's been part of the ANC for the longest time. And it also reminds me of this 9 wasted years scenario or sentiment, being part of a particular government for 9 years and not doing anything about it. Why is it that he's only making these claims now? Do you think it's politicking or is it simply a genuine observation?
I think some of the issues are genuine. I have raised the same issues about our legal system myself, by the way. And I think more eminent scholars of law have raised these issues to say, why is our law not based on indigenous African law? Why are we busy with these European laws and Roman Dutch law and all that? But you know, when you are in office in the ANC, for the most part, and this was a problem from day one, even during Mandela's time, is that there is just so much time that is wasted on corruption, stealing money, and confusion, that critical issues have not been addressed. Then the weSizwe did try to raise this issue of the sources of our law, excluding the foundations of indigenous law, and that thing was poo-poo. But I do think that it must be raised.
All right, Mr. Swana, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Well, that was Sandile Swana, political analyst, unpacking the uMkhonto weSizwe Party election manifesto, which was held at the Orlando Stadium over the weekend.